I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan, and this channel is dedicated to skincare for skin of color. So today's video is all about the worst combinations of skincare for skin of color. Now, I know it's very confusing. I mean, you go shopping and nowadays you've got companies like The Ordinary who are great and they give you specific ingredients in each bottle so you know exactly what percentage you're putting on your face. But often you don't know how to combine them, which ones boost each other and which ones negate each other and which ones just cause pure irritation to your skin. And especially when it comes to skin of color. Skin of color, we have to be so careful because if we have any irritation or inflammation or a burn, it can lead to pigmentation. So I treat pigmentation at the Hyperpigmentation Clinic. You can follow us on Instagram to see our before and afters. And I've also created a free guide for you that's down below in the description box, which basically also talks about ingredients that are great for skin of color and the ones that we should really be avoiding too. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is AHA or BHA plus a vitamin C. So I'd avoid this combination. The reason being that AHAs and BHAs are obviously acids. That's your alpha hydroxy acids, things like glycolic acid, lactic acid. BHA is your salicylic acid. Then vitamin C, something like ascorbic acid, is very unstable. And so what we have to do is to lower the pH in order to stabilize it. That means that we lower it down to about 4, pH of 4. So imagine now you've put acid on the skin, you've taken the top layer of skin away, and now you've placed another product on the skin, your vitamin C, with a low pH of about pH 4. That's basically like double exfoliating the skin, which can sensitize the skin. It can irritate the skin. So I'd avoid that combination together. Instead, what I would say is wear your BHA, so salicylic acid 2%, plus other antioxidants. So things like green tea extract, resveratrol are all excellent, and they don't have a low pH either, so they work well together. So this is basically what was in the thumbnail. So this is PIXI tonic, so that's your 5% glycolic acid, and then this is retinol from The Ordinary. So you wouldn't combine these two together, for example. The second combination is you wouldn't use a vitamin A plus exfoliation. So vitamin A, it would be something like retinol, for example, which is basically increasing cell turnover. So that means that the cells are coming from the basal layer deeper in the skin, coming to the surface much faster. So when they come to the surface, they're nice, juicy, young keratinocytes. They're not thin, packed keratinocytes that happen as you age, which leads to dull skin. So these nice, young, juicy keratinocytes come to the surface. You don't then exfoliate them because that's going to lead to irritation and inflammation. So when I talk about exfoliation, this, for example, is a physical exfoliant. This is Sunscreen. This is 2% salicylic acid from The Ordinary, which is a chemical exfoliant. And this is Wishful from Huda. And this is an enzyme exfoliant. So I wouldn't use any of these three with a retinol. Also, if you are wearing retinol in your skincare routine or any form of vitamin A, make sure the sunblock that you're wearing is excellent. So I've done a whole video on my favorite physical sunblocks that don't leave a white cast on the skin, my top 3. So make sure you watch that video if you are wearing a retinol or a retinoid in your skincare. The next combination that I would avoid is if you have acne, avoid benzoyl peroxide plus retinol, so any vitamin A. The reason is that that benzoyl peroxide actually oxidizes retinol and stops it from working. It actually stops all antioxidants from working. So it's not worth putting those two together. So just in case you don't know what the antioxidants are, so you wouldn't combine benzoyl peroxide with vitamin C, with green tea extract, or with resveratrol. The next combination I want you to avoid is benzoyl peroxide plus your exfoliation. The reason is that benzoyl peroxide is great for acne when it comes to, it's an antimicrobial, it also clears out the pores. So it's definitely worth using, but it can also dry the skin. And when you dry the skin, it can lead to very sensitive skin. You then don't exfoliate sensitive skin because it can lead to erythema, which is redness, irritation, and actually micro tears because the skin is quite dry and brittle at that point. At this point, actually, you want to be repairing the skin. So you want to be using ingredients such as ceramides, hyaluronic acid. You want to use peptides. You just want to use things that are going to restore the skin and give you the supple skin that you had before you started benzoyl peroxide. A very good non-comedogenic moisturizer is CeraVe. Okay, so this is the tub. It's non-comedogenic, plus it's got ceramides in it, so it's great for acne-prone skin. If you want me to do a whole video on best moisturizers for acne-prone skin, please can you write that down below? And if you want me to make a video on best sunblocks for acne-prone skin, can you please also write it down below so I know that's something that you want. I would also avoid combining an AHA with a BHA. So for example, you would never wear this PIXI tonic glycolic acid plus salicylic acid, 2%. I believe that even Drunk Elephant does a product called TLC, which is AHA plus BHA together, which I'd avoid. And I think The Ordinary also does one, which is the one in the red vial, the one that seems to be viral actually on social media because of the red color. That's AHA plus BHA, so I would avoid that combination for skin of color. In fact, I've gone into a lot of detail when it comes to Drunk Elephant and The Ordinary, the best and worst products for skin of color, so you can watch those videos too. Okay, so the next two I'd avoid are niacinamide plus AHA. So AHA plus niacinamide I'd avoid. The reason being that AHA can lower the pH and convert B3 to nicotinic acid, which can be quite irritating to the skin. It's not conclusive that that's exactly what happens to your skin. However, this is a possibility. And so it's just a combination that I personally would avoid. And the seventh combination that I would avoid are alcohol toners plus any actives. So the thing is, it's got this quick dry effect. And so people with oily skin, oil, acne prone skin love that feeling. The problem is you're actually destroying your skin barrier. And so you're preventing repair of the skin from taking place. And so it's basically like ripping open the skin and then shoving in the active ingredient. So you think you're doing a good job because you're getting great penetration of the ingredient. However, you're causing sensitization of the skin, you're damaging the skin, you're causing more issues than if you hadn't worn the active in the first place. So on your toners, have a quick look for denatured alcohol or SD alcohol. I know how complicated skincare can feel. I mean, I remember when I first started learning about skincare, my parents owned a company called Pharma Clinics, and that's where I learned how to become a cosmetic formulator myself. But at the time, I remember being at medical school. I was about 20 years old and my parents were doing an exhibition called Dubai Derma, which is one of the largest exhibitions for dermatologists globally. And they put me on a plane to go over and help. And on the plane journey, I was sitting there trying to learn all the antioxidants, how ingredients combine, what shouldn't be combined together. And I remember feeling really quite overwhelmed. And when I got there, it was a fantastic experience. I mean, it was just buzzing with dermatologists and my dad was doing a lecture. And I remember him standing on the stage and answering questions, which I myself just thought, I have no idea how my dad keeps all this information in his brain. Like the questions were quite intense to someone who was just learning. And one doctor asked him, but isn't salicylic acid a keratolytic? Isn't that going to be irritating to the skin? And I remember my dad saying, but don't forget 2% and less is an anti-inflammatory. It's only keratolytic above 2%. And to someone who had no idea what salicylic acid even was and was, just learning, I thought, wow, I cannot wait to learn all of this and make sense of it and have it flow so easily in my mind that answers to those sorts of questions. So that's really what I'm trying to do with this channel, is to basically teach you in a way that I wish it'd been taught to me, to make it really simple, to demystify, to understand what's marketing claims and what's truth. I hope you're finding this channel helpful, and I hope I'm doing a good job. I am working very hard at it. If there are any questions that you have, any things that you think are a myth, or any products that you really want to know, does it actually work or is it a gimmick? Please can you write it down below for me and I will happily review it for you. I've reviewed lots of different brands, right from Abaji to Estee Lauder to Drunk Elephant to The Ordinary to Murad to L'Oreal. And I will continue to review. So just let me know what you want me to do and I will do it. Make sure, please, that you download your free ebook so that you have all the knowledge at your fingertips. Thank you very much.